Hello people of the web, and welcome back to my Vanilla High series. I have another building planned for this mushroom island. Now this is something that I've been working on in a creative world. I'm going to show you the basic structure in a moment. That structure will be sent to Hushbug to work on to make it look pretty. And while she's doing that, we can then do the groundwork for the building. First off, to the creative world. Now I'm hoping this world looks vaguely familiar, because that means you've been following the series. At least this would be the kelp farm based design that I sent to Hushbug. She then amended it to make it look as it does currently. And over here is where I was testing my design for the mob farm, which is in our Skyblock series. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. Now today's build is actually this diamond shaped thing over here. I want to build a chorus farm, which you've probably guessed from the title of the video. Now, this will work very simply in that, of course, all of the endstone I can plant flowers on. They should grow, and some of the growth will be stopped by these end rods. Those ones will be the fruit that we can pick from the ground level. So the idea is that we come through here, break all the ones we can reach, and there'll be a button to dispense water from here. In fact, we can simulate it now if I grab myself a button. If we just place that there. And it should flood the whole area, breaking all the chorus plants that are still there, and washing everything off the edge and down to this layer, which is where we have a funnel going to the middle. Now, obviously this barrel won't be here because there'll be observers feeding up to power that dispenser, but the hoppers can still collect around the observer and then feed off in one of the 4 directions, which is to be decided. It doesn't really matter which one, but I'm happy with this as a base design. Now I need to check my measurements and then head over to Vanilla High and can start digging. Wow, in the time it took to record that little segment, it's turned nighttime. I think I slept recently, so we shouldn't need to worry. Now, this beacon is here because we've been digging down this mountain, which you can see where it was up to, and this chunk here that I'm outlining was basically all stone. Hushbug's done a fair bit of it. I need to do the last bit, and then my plan is to build the new building kind of here in this corner. I might need to just square off here, but we should be okay. I just need to make sure that if there's any blocks here that aren't in the mushroom island, I just light them up, so it's not a big deal. But a big diamond shape here should do. Now I measured it to be 33 blocks, which means if this is the absolute corner, it should go just over to where I've dug out there, which isn't too bad. I just need to do a tiny bit of landscaping to change the way this hill goes down. But yeah, that should be easy enough. Now my plan is to do this on a stream, so I'm going to cut here and then I'm going to set up myself for a stream tonight, and hopefully the next clip there'll be something here, although I don't know how much I'll manage to get done because I need to cut this down and then dig a hole and work out the collection system, because that bit won't be touched by Hushbug. She won't need to design that, that's already done. She needs to design the building. Oh, I lied. I just thought of something. Now, because we're in a mushroom island, there's no real requirement for lights to be in the floor. So what we can do is, of course, have this as a pretty standard floor, or a pattern can be done. By not having to have the lights here, it gives Hushbug more freedom as to what she builds. As well as that, I'm using end rods here, so that lights the room. Although most people that do this tend to use glass here. There shouldn't really be an advantage to having glass over end rods. So I think I'm going to have end rods, and then she's got more freedom to build a pretty pattern on the floor. Now it's been a couple of days since I last recorded, because well, I had my live stream and then wasn't able to get online. So I'll just show you what we've managed to get done. I did quite a lot. Dug down the rest of the mountain and placed basically in the entire bottom part of the structure and put the water flow system in. Now, the only problem with all this is we have run the thing once and discovered that there's an issue with item collection, in that the items fall down and some of them get stuck in the bottom block and therefore don't start flowing to the middle. I have worked out a way of fixing this though in creative, and that just means ripping out these quartz blocks here and not the stuff behind, and putting the water sources there. Shouldn't take me too long. Although I would say that this pick needs mending first. However, it doesn't have mending. And yes, I was standing at the Guardian farm for at least 5 minutes trying to mend it before realising that the durability wasn't going up at all. So, run away from the phantoms, and then we'll head to the library and get me a mending book. Using the new bridge already. Okay, while I was mending, these guys stayed here, but they're burning up quickly enough. Anyway, let's just ignore them and get on with my job. Now, the first thing I need to do is remove all of the water that I spent so long placing. Bit of a pig, but at least I've got sponges. Whenever I use my sponges, I always get paranoid that I've left one behind. Nope, I've got all 32 that I brought with me. Fantastic. Now, to sort this problem, we need to rip out this layer here, which means that the layer behind that, I kind of want to place quartz in there because I have a funny feeling I'll be able to see the dirt from up above, which is ugly. So, another bit of a chore. Well, that was a simple enough upgrade. Now, with the water sources going in one block, I think that means that the water won't quite flow to the edge here. So I might have to move this out one like so. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'll fill it in for now. Worst case scenario, after I've put the water in, I can then dig it out. I have to say, it's a lot quicker placing ice than it was placing all the water. Especially as I was being washed away whilst trying to do it. Simple. As long as it all works. This is all a theory. So, if it doesn't work, I might cry a little bit. There. I should need Hushbug to come along here and give me some concrete powder, because I've got one extra block that I need to fill in. There. Hushbug kindly came down and brought some concrete powder, which means this is all decorated, and we extended it over 2 blocks, which means you shouldn't be able to see any from up there. Also, I was correct. I do need to remove this one layer here so that all the water flow goes to the middle. Although with haste 2, I'm very likely to break too many blocks. There. That should work. I know that the water stops before that hopper, but I don't think we'll get caught in the lip. It should be okay. And if not, we'll just have to rejig that so it goes down a block. It's not a big problem. Now, hopefully, Hushbug is working at putting all the stuff down for me, because I asked her to put a crop down. And then we can let this all grow for a bit. Oop, bit of a lag. Let it all grow and then do a harvest and see how well it works. Now, the key thing to remember is how many chorus flowers we started with and how many we get at the end of a harvest. Because not all of the flowers will be within reach for us to harvest, and that should be fine, because I'm hoping we'll have enough within reach that we get them all back. Or as many back as we put in, I should say. I've been hiding in the cactus farm, just so at night, if it happens that I haven't slept recently enough, phantoms can't attack me. Now, as you can see, the chorus farm seems to be working. Oop, can't quite make the roof. Let's try that again. There. And nicely landed. So all of the flowers have grown as tall as they can do. We used exactly one stack filling up all the spaces, which is quite a nice round number. So the next thing for me to do is walk along, break all of the flowers that I can reach, and then activate the machine, and hopefully we'll have at least a stack of flowers. If we have, then the farm's a success. Did I say that I wanted to knock down all of the flowers? Because what I meant was all of the ones that I can reach. And my goal was 64. I think I have a few that I've managed to break and not pick up. So what we're going to do is activate the system and see whether we get the 4 extra flowers that we should be getting. There. Now I think that should activate the water. Ah, there we go. It was just a lot of lag from well, all of those plants breaking. Now of course we'll lose some of the fruit on the side here, but that won't be an issue once we build the walls up. So I'm just going to go collect this stuff that's gone too far. I don't know how that's sitting there. Now what was happening before I moved the water was that some of the chorus fruit was sitting in that block there. Now at first glance I can't see any instances where that's the problem anymore, which is very reassuring. Now if I come down here I should find that there's loads of... Right, they're still coming in. All of that stuff I said about not having enough flowers, there's 8 in there, which means that actually we have plenty and gained a good number of fruit. What are the chances of getting up top? Hey, perfect. There, all replanted with 7 left to spare. So the next thing is to see what Hushbug's come up with as a design for the walls. I sent the world download to Hushbug and she designed this in her creative world. Now I had a few initial thoughts about it and decided to make my own alterations to it. Now, while I really liked what Hushbug had done, and it's certainly different from anything we've got before, just keeping the same palette, I did feel that the windows were a little bit too small. So all I've done is moved the diagonal cyan strips further down and up, giving a bigger window space in between. Now, we were on Skype discussing it whilst I was finishing it off, and while the initial proposal was to have a flat roof, I thought it would be worth trying a peaked edge, and we were both surprised to find that we actually like it more like this. So I think we have our design. I just need to build it all over again. I say all over again, I haven't actually built it all because, well, I'm in creative and I've just built half of it. The other thing is that we'd prefer not to have a solid roof but to have glass, which means that we'll have more light coming in down here and it will just feel like a bigger, roomier space. Now Hushbug's putting together most of the supplies I'll need. Now the only thing that we haven't got in storage at the moment is sea lanterns, which is rather peculiar seeing as we have this massive guardian farm with loads of supplies. But I suppose I haven't really been making them until I need them. Now the design for this thing is actually multi-layered, so we have glass going on top of where the quartz is currently, and then those stripy bits will be going a layer out. So I'm going to get started on doing the glass, which is relatively simple, and then of course once we got the concrete powder in we can do the other stuff later. Although first let's actually stop jumping over this gap and give ourselves a bridge. Moments ago I said that I'd build the glass bit first. I then realised that of course when I place the glass bits there needs to be sea lanterns in this layer at the same height as the glazed terracotta. which makes it more awkward to work out. So what I'm actually going to do is probably build the outside shell and the inside at the same time. So I just need to wait for Hushbug to turn up with some supplies. I've been fairly busy for the last hour or so, and quite productive. Not quite finished. The main thing is we've run out of glass. And while I could smelt sand, I kind of refuse to spend sand on stuff when it's much more useful being made into concrete. So I'm going to go trade with some villagers. A few updates to run through while we're here. Apparently we must have run out of shears, which is not surprising because I've been here a fair bit lately. We've also spawned a slime in here, who I named Steve. And he's staying in here until I can decide what to do with him. May find a use for him. Maybe not, but for now, keeping hold of him. My new pet. Now, a couple of days ago, I filled this room with shulkers, all carrying quite a lot of stone. Now, I've been selling them off when I can, and the rest has gone into these chests, which is a bit of a backlog, but that's okay because hopefully... Oh, he's locked up at the moment. I can sell some stone to this guy, some raw fish to this one, and use some of the emeralds to buy glass, which a couple of these villagers offer. Look, free glass. Didn't have to smelt anything. Also making an effort to buy some quartz occasionally because, well, that's a very good way of getting quartz, much easier than mining in the nether. While the chorus farm isn't quite complete, I think I've managed a lot for this video, and I'm going to end it here. Then, while I do some editing, I can keep this trading room loaded and stock up on glass and quartz, whilst getting rid of some of the excess stone. If you're enjoying the series, please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and consider sending a link to a friend. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye now.